Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking on, well, probably the single biggest question in human history.
Are we alone?
Exactly. And, before you roll your eyes, we are not talking about sci-fi movies or tinfoil hats today. We're looking strictly at the actual state of the search for extraterrestrial life as it stands right now in early 2026.
Right. And it is actually the perfect time to look at this. Because if you look at the sources we're using today, ranging from recent NASA technical reports to some honestly very intense Pentagon files, you see this massive shift.
Yeah, over the last decade or so, this whole topic has really migrated from the cultural fringe straight into rigorous, well-funded science.
It has. But reading through all this material, there's this tension that just keeps popping up.
The gap.
Yes, the gap. We are stuck between the statistical likelihood, the math that says life simply must be out there, and the stubborn lack of verified empirical proof.
We are drowning in probabilities but starving for facts. So let's go hunting for those facts. We're starting locally with our neighbor, Mars.
Specifically a rock.
Right. A rock called Cheyava Falls that the Perseverance rover sampled back in July 2024.
And this is arguably the most compelling geological evidence we've ever found on another planet. The rover identified these tiny, millimeter-sized leopard spots on the rock.
Leopard spots?
Yeah, they contain iron and phosphate, specifically minerals called vivianite and greigite.
And for those of us who aren't geologists, why do we care about leopard spots?
Because on Earth, those specific chemical patterns are almost always a byproduct of microbial metabolism. They are essentially chemical fossil footprints.
So if you found that rock in a desert here on Earth...
You'd say ancient life was here, hands down.
Which sounds like a slam dunk. We found the spots, so case closed.
You would really think so, but here's the catch. The rover's instruments aren't sensitive enough to completely rule out non-biological chemistry. We need those rocks back in a lab here on Earth to reach that 5 sigma level of certainty.
And the sources point out that the Mars sample return mission is currently stuck in budget purgatory.
Exactly. So we have this potential fossil sitting in Jezero Crater, millions of miles away, just waiting for a ride.
Mars is a strong maybe.
Yeah.
But if you want to get excited about active chemistry, we have to look further out. To Saturn's moon, Enceladus.
The ice moon. We've known it has a subsurface ocean, but recent analysis found something new in those plumes shooting out into space.
Hydrogen cyanide and phosphorus, right?
Confirmed. And hydrogen cyanide sounds bad, like a poison, but in this context, it is a critical precursor for amino acids. It is a fundamental building block for life.
So you have water, you have energy, and you have the ingredients.
It's literally like walking into a kitchen and seeing flour, eggs, and sugar sitting on the counter.
You haven't seen the cake.
Right, you haven't seen the cake, you haven't seen the cook, but you know someone is ready to bake.
Okay, so our solar system is a stocked kitchen. But what about deep space? The sources spent a ton of time on a planet called K218b.
Ugh, the Hyson world. This is a planet with a hydrogen atmosphere and a massive water ocean. Early data suggested it might have dimethyl sulfide, a gas that, at least on Earth, is only produced by life.
Specifically marine plankton. That sounded like huge news when it broke.
It was massive, but science is brutal. By 2025, follow-up studies showed the data just didn't reach that 5 sigma threshold.
That is the gold standard, right? The 0.00006% chance of error.
Exactly. We are currently stuck at a 3 sigma detection. It's a tantalizing hint, but it simply isn't proof.
And speaking of signals that didn't pan out, we have to mention the end of SETI at home.
Oh, a bittersweet end to an era.
I think a lot of you listening probably grew up running that screensaver.
They analyzed 12 billion signals. The FAST telescope checked the top 100 candidates.
Yeah.
Every single one turned out to be Earth-based interference.
Deep space is quiet. But if we look at our own atmosphere, things are getting loud. Which brings us to the UAP conflict, unidentified anomalous phenomena.
The sources here paint two completely different realities. On one side, you have the AARO report, that's the Pentagon's UFO office, released in November 2024.
They analyzed 757 cases.
And their conclusion was zero evidence of aliens. They said it's mostly Starlink, flares, balloons, or birds.
But then you have the counter-narrative. We're talking about the Immaculate Constellation leak presented by journalist Michael Schellenberger.
Right. And to be clear, we are just imparting what these sources claim, not taking a side. The allegation here is that the executive branch is hiding high-fidelity data.
Specifically, whistleblowers claim there is a 13-minute video on a secure network showing a high-definition white orb emerging from the ocean off Kuwait.
That is the core conflict. The government report says we have no evidence, and the whistleblowers say you have the evidence, you are just hiding it.
It's an epistemological crisis. We are stuck between official denial and sworn testimony, with absolutely no public data to settle the score.
So we are just in a waiting game. Astrobiologists are waiting for better instruments to turn anomalies into facts.
While the intelligence community is locked in a battle over classification.
Technically, we are closer than ever to an answer, but that final step, moving from anomaly to fact, remains the hardest jump to make.
It really makes you wonder where the breakthrough will come from. So here's a thought to lead you with. Is the proof of extraterrestrial life waiting to be dug up in a crater on Mars, or is it already sitting locked away on a secure server? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.